Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to the second ever episode of Cottle's Top 10 of Everything. Today, I'll be counting down my top 10 breakfast cereals, and I know what you're thinking. James, you can hardly even name 10 breakfast cereals without the help of Wikipedia. Well, evil ones, you are very much mistaken. I am actually incredibly well versed in the intricacies of the breakfast cereal industry because, well, I eat a lot of it. Without my breakfast in the morning, terrible things start to happen to me. Depression, rage, and a severe loss of intelligence. It will always be my most important meal of the day, but I don't understand why some people don't even bother. If I wake up late enough, I like to combine my breakfast and lunch. It's a nice little combination I call lunch fast. But this is a countdown of breakfast cereals, not lunch fast cereals. Pretty sure there's a difference. If not, then maybe Nestle or Kellogg's can invest in it as a future market. In my research and data collection of every breakfast cereal ever made, I came across some interesting tie-ins. Notable ones include E.T. cereal, Bill and Ted's Excellent cereal, C-3PO's, Ghostbusters cereal, and most impressive of them all is the Ghostbusters 2 cereal. Probably the only cereal in the world that has its own sequel. Anyway, I picked out 15 that stood out of the mighty plethora before me to include in this pointless video. Here are the 5 honorary mentions that didn't quite make the top 10. And yes, that last one does actually exist. It'll be a miraculous day when I find it in my local supermarket. Still, a man can dream. Right, now on to the main event. The moment we've all been waiting for. My top 10 breakfast cereals. Enjoy! Number 10. Cookie Crisp. This cereal wins the award for profoundly affecting pronunciation through advertising. I can't say Cookie Crisp without sounding like I should be sectioned. Thus is the power of advertising. The sheer novelty of having miniature cookies in my breakfast is just too overwhelming to ignore. However, those who know me will know that I haven't eaten chocolate in over a year. Don't ask me why, there were a plethora of reasons why I gave it up, most of which I've simply forgotten. So I'm kind of trusting myself on this one. So Cookie Crisp's inclusion on this list is mostly based around memory, as well as some of the other chocolate-based cereals on this list. Number 9. Rice Krispies. Call me childish, but I'm a sucker for novelty. The day when they invent 3D breakfast cereals can't come soon enough. So a meal that actually makes noise while you eat it is, to me, the greatest thing since popping candy. Oh, wait. Still, the main reason this isn't higher on the list is because loud cereal isn't really ideal for anyone with a sensitive head or a hangover. So, Rice Krispies wins the award for best cereal track to have on an iPod. Number 8. Shreddies. These little brown prison cells are surprisingly unremarkable. James, why are Shreddies on your list if they're so unremarkable? You could have had Mr. T cereal in your top 10. You're probably right. They shouldn't be on the list. What? Oh, I mean, yes, of course. But then again, I always find myself coming back to Shreddies when I'm bored or totally out of other cereals, because they taste good. Therefore, I give Shreddies the award for being James's constant, even in troubled times. Number 7. Cocoa Pops. Cocoa Pops wins the award for being the most mainstream cereal on this list, but as a child, I was somewhat deprived of it. It was always the thing that I looked forward to most whenever I was allowed to stay over a friend's house. Not that I lived under a cereal totalitarian regime as a child. I think the idea of milk turning chocolatey captured my young mind and made me put the cereal on a pedestal. Looking back now, though, particularly as an ex-chocolate consumer, it wasn't really that great. The adverts were pretty much unavoidable, and the little pops tasted more and more like plastic as time went on. Still, I will always respect Cocoa Pops for implanting such a romantic view of it in my head. I may try and do the same thing with my kids someday. Number 6. Honey Nut Cornflakes. Let me break it down for you. I love honey. I kind of like nuts. I don't mind cornflakes. So when you put it all together, you get something quite nice, actually. Honey Nut Cornflakes are my first example of how honey can improve anything. Although I guess I'd say they're on a par with Crunchy Nut Cornflakes. Thinking about it, I don't think the Crunchy Nut ones are any more crunchy than the honey ones. Anyway, cornflakes on their own are pretty bland, so well done Kellogg's for sorting their shiz out. They get the award for the most improved cereal without need for gimmicks. Number 5. Swiss Choco Bits. Oh, I lament how middle class I am. Fie, how a guilty pleasure could make its way so far up this list is most unnerving. I promised myself I wouldn't sound like Stewie Griffin in this video. Swiss Choco Bits are the highest placing chocolate-based cereal on this list. Not that I'm biased or anything. It's just that a good friend recommended these to me from Waitrose a couple of years ago, and they are incredible. Expensive though, so they get the award for making James feel less middle class than he actually is. Number 4. Strawberry Country Crisp. Screw that, I am middle class, whatever. I'm gonna go out on a whim here and say that Strawberry Crisp is the most intense and filling cereal in the world. This cereal has actually defeated me a few times in the mornings, which you could argue is not very encouraging for your day. Those little ball cereal cluster stone thingies are like little rock cakes, and they just slow you down in the morning. And then the makers go and add in massive slabs of strawberry just to mess with your perceptions of what a fruit actually is. The final kick in the nuts is that the strawberries actually turn the milk pink, just to show you what a pansy you are. Therefore, this cereal gets the award for bullying its way into 4th place. Number 3, number 3, number 3, number 3, number 3, number... Cheerios. And I know what you're thinking. James, Cheerios float. They aren't practical to eat with milk. They just end up overflowing all the time. Well, I have another simple message for you. We all need some excitement in our lives, and this is just one of the many ways that I like to live on the edge. I'm going to admit again that I prefer the honeyed alternative to the standard issue counterpart. The best way to describe it is that normal Cheerios are Melinda Messenger, but the honey ones are Pamela Anderson. So Cheerios get the award for letting James include Pamela Anderson in this video. Number 2. Frosties. They're greatly underestimated in the field of mainstream cereals. I'm really sorry about that. I'll go back to buttons. Frosties take you back to a time where sugar was socially accepted as what all the cool kids were doing. The main reason, though, that they've managed to make it all the way up to the number 2 position on this list is, I think, a perfectly justified one. Even if they contain a fraction of the E numbers that they used to, they've still managed to maintain that awesome taste to this very day. Tony the Tiger is a bigger household name than Chris de Burgh these days, and that's not because of his music career. So Frosties gets the coveted award for making James realize that sugar is the answer to all of life's problems. And so here it is, the number one spot. You'll be pleased to hear that it's a controversial choice, and one that will most likely decimate half of my friends list on Facebook. Congratulations to Cinnamon Grahams, which also receives the award for making the name Graham even more cool than it actually is. But that's besides the point. Cinnamon is a controversial substance. I wouldn't be surprised if it's been responsible for every major war going back to the Dark Ages. Its influence over our very existence is actually relatively disturbing, but by God can it make or break a meal like no other substance can. Vastly superior to its golden deformed cousin, and any meal for that matter. I'm seriously considering just having it for every meal of the day now. If you want to know why my choices are infinitely better than yours, then just send me a quick message. Your favourite cereal was probably snubbed for a good reason. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for my top 10 dance moves of all time. It's going to be messy.